Hello, squirrels. Today's guest on Blind Squirrel Talk, famous in a small town, is Shane Roberson. Pastor Shane, as he's affectionately known, is the pastor of Maysville Baptist Church. Today, he will share his love of Maysville Baptist as well as the many activities and outreaches that are available to the community. We know you're going to enjoy meeting Pastor Shane and the members of the Maysville Baptist team. Hello, squirrels. Welcome back to another episode of Blind Squirrel Talk, famous in a small town. I'm Lulu.
I'm Kim.
And this is Pastor Shane Roberson, and he is the pastor of Maysville Baptist Church, and we've got some exciting stuff to share with y'all today. They're going to tell us all about everything that happens at the church, and things are in store for the future, things that you can get involved with. And here we go with Pastor Shane. Thanks for coming out today. It's a freezing day outside, but you braved the weather.
Yeah, it's about 22 degrees outside on the way in.
Yeah.
But thank you, Lulu, for the invitation.
Yeah.
Kim, thank you so much.
Absolutely, we thank you.
Inviting me to come, but I am so glad to be here. Thank you for this opportunity.
Well, there's so much to know about Maysville Baptist Church, so we're just going to throw it at you and tell us all about it. Tell us all about the church.
Well, the church is an amazing place there, sitting on that hillside. I mean, as you probably know, if you've been in Maysville for some time, we used to be located here on Homer Street. And the Lord saw fit over Brian Stowe, who was the pastor during that season. We were able to acquire the property over here on 82 Spur and built a building there and been able to run these two campuses. And I've been able to be the pastor of the church for the last 10 years. And the Lord's been very, very good to us there during this season. When I came to Maysville, we were in about $2.3 million worth of debt.
Ooh.
And it was a real struggle when I first got there. In fact, that was one of the things the church really wanted to see. They wanted to see that debt be eliminated. Mm-hmm. And so knowing that and knowing that that was probably a good thing to get the debt eliminated, mm-hmm. we prayed and we sought God's wisdom on this. And over a period of 7 years, we were able to get that $2.3 million debt paid off. And so today, we're debt-free. We don't have any debt at all at the church.
Nice.
And God's been very gracious to us through the years. We've been able to see ministries grow and flourish. And man, we just want to be a help to the community. We want to be a help to those that are in need. And very, very blessed to be the pastor at Maysville Baptist Church. And I am just so excited, not just to be at Maysville, to be in the community of Maysville. Mm-hmm. This is a wonderful place. And,
yes.
And I know that we've known each other for some time, and God has truly blessed our relationships, mm-hmm. and I'm mm-hmm. very grateful, Lulu, even for you. I mean, you have taken care of some of our staff members and made mm-hmm. sure that they had a roof over their head. And for that, I'm mm-hmm. very, very grateful, and I am so thankful.
She's going to start crying.
For all that you've done to help in the ministry. And I know Kim and I, we have talked several times, and I'll never forget, Kim, when you and I met out by the library. We were just talking mm-hmm. about how wonderful it is to have a library in Maysville, and what a blessing it is to mm-hmm. be able to have this for the community, and how important it is for the community as well as for the church that we have a place like that. And your passion has always just been an inspiration in response to caring for the library.
I do care about the library and the city.
You really do. You do. But thank y'all so very much for letting us be here today.
We thank you.
I did bring some friends. I did bring some staff members with me.
I know.
We're happy to
They're
talk
over
to
here.
them,
We
get to
can't
know
wait
them
to
a little bit
interview
better.
them.
Because I'm just going to be honest with you. As pastor, there's some key things that I bring to the table. I mean, as pastor, I obviously I preach every week, and I would love to have everyone come and visit with us. We have two services on Sunday morning, 9:30 and 11. And both services are pretty much the same. I wish I could say the messages are the same. I try, but there's a little difference between the two. I have the same outline, but it may be a little bit different. But I do that. I do the preaching. I do the teaching. I do the counseling and some of the relationship things. But when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of specific ministry, there's obviously no way I can do it all. Mm-hmm. And so God has really blessed us with a team at Maysville that really works very, very well together. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of these staff members come. They're not all here today, but I do have 3 of them.
Well, they can come back another day.
Yes, yes. But thank y'all again for the opportunity.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than a church family. I mean, you know, you have your family, but your church family are those that, I don't want to say just feel more real, but they're there for you always, without question, unconditionally. And it's really a blessing when you have that in your life.
I think one of the challenges that in our culture today and in our world today is, especially in relationship to church, and it's associated with religion generally, but there's a teaching that's going around today that says if you come to Christ and if you're religious, then you're not going to have any problems or challenges or difficulties, and everything's just going to be fine. And there's this social prosperity type gospel that goes out, and that's really not, it's not true. I mean, Jesus even said, when the trials come, that we need to make sure that we're built on the firm foundation of Christ. And so just this past week before the storm came in, I had one of our church members called, and his 93-year-old mother had passed away.
Oh.
And man, 93 years, that's a long life.
Yes.
In fact, the scripture tells us if you live 70 years, you're blessed. And if you have strength and live 80 years, you're really blessed, but it comes with some real trials and challenges. And so to see someone that has lived 93 years on this earth, man, that's something special. She had a relationship with the Lord, but even she died. And that brings heartache and sorrow. And I bring that up because here's a man in the church that says, this makes a quote, says, hey, I don't know what people do without their church family.
Right.
Because they're there to be there for one another. Even during this time, I mean, he knows his mother's sick. He knows his mother's going to pass away. He knows that she's not going to live forever on this earth, but he does know that she'll live forever somewhere. And is excited to know that one day he'll see his mother again. And so I agree, church is so vitally important in uplifting and bringing those together of encouragement and love and to have the grace that we need for one another is so vitally important.
I always say that church is your 2 a.m. friend, because it doesn't matter what time of the day, if you have the church,
Yes.
you've got somebody you can call.
Yeah, I got a phone call from a dear friend this morning who is a pastor, and he's got a non-malignant brain tumor over his right ear in his brain, and he's going to be having surgery a week from today. And he's nervous, and he's a pastor, and he's just needing prayer, and we talked on the telephone and just encouraged one another and tried to help each other through this difficult season. But that's what you're talking about. Some of these early morning phone calls that come in, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, that even when you're sitting there drinking your cup of coffee and you're on call 24/7.
Right.
I mean, you may have some scheduled time off, but the fact remains.
Even then, you're still going to get
Start to
calls.
say, even your scheduled time off, it kind of, it's probably not really there.
But it really is a blessing, because at the church, everybody comes together, and they come together in such a way that it doesn't all fall upon the pastor. Now, the buck has to stop. I mean, with me, there's no doubt. I mean, somebody's got to be the leader. Anything with 2 heads is a monster, and anything with no head is dead. So, I mean, there has to be a leader. But in relationship to the team that God has given us, they can go and take care of any problems that we have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is a place where you do get those 2 a.m. phone calls.
Well, tell us a little bit about some of the programs. I know you've got all kinds of things going on over there, not just youth, but I think you have groups that meet.
We do. We have a lot of things happening at the church, and we've got a thing called it's called the MBC, the MBC News, Maysville Baptist Church News.
That's good.
And so you could go to our website, which is maysvillebaptist.net. And you can subscribe. You don't have to be a member to subscribe to the newsletter. You could subscribe to the newsletter. It goes out every Friday. And it just keeps the congregation and those that are interested, just keeps them informed of all the ministries that we've got coming up and going on, and giving people an opportunity to be a part of those ministries. Like, for example, we have a clothes closet. The clothes closet is still located over on the Homer Street campus.
Wildly popular.
Yes.
Yes, and,
Yes.
and here's what, and I want Tori, who is our community outreach director, to talk a little bit more about it. But one of the reasons why I love our clothes closet is because it's not just Maysville Baptist Church's clothes closet. It's Maysville's clothes closet, and everybody takes care of each other there. I mean, it's not uncommon for someone to come in, get some clothing, leave, and then come back with clothing and donate again. And it's just, it's got its own life cycle that is just a tremendous blessing. But we have that. We also have a food pantry that operates once a month, and it's a drive-through food pantry. And you can drive through and you can get food, and it just is an amazing opportunity just to help meet needs in relationship to the community. And then you think about some of the other things that we have, like, for example, our wild game dinner. That's coming up. That's coming up February the 20th, 6:30 p.m. We're going to have about 1,800 people show up at the Jackson County Ag Center, and we're going to have a good meal. We're going to give away about $30,000 worth of prizes.
Wow.
And then we're going to share the greatest message of all, the message of Christ and the hope that we have in Him. And Scott Smith's going to be our speaker this year. He works for the Georgia Baptist Mission Board, does a tremendous job, and we're looking forward to that. And then you think about our weekly programs that we've got, like on Sunday morning we've got Bible studies that meet. Brandon Black, who is our education pastor, he takes care of all of our education needs there at the church. So we've got everything you can imagine, from children's department all the way up to senior adults. There are so many classes to participate in. Even for those that maybe need a Sunday night meeting, we've got classes that meet on Sunday night that you can go to and be a part of a small group and be a part of that community so that you can continue to grow. So we're very thankful for that. We've got youth programs at the church. Our student ministry program is doing phenomenal. We've got a gym. We called it a family life type center, where it's got a big gym in it and some meeting rooms. And what's amazing about that building is we built that building while we were paying off the debt. And so probably one of the most ambitious and hardest things that I've ever done in ministry was to pay debt off while at the same time pay cash to build a building. And God blessed that endeavor. And so
That's
we were
impressive.
able to build that gym without going into any debt. So grateful for all those that participated in that, because in order to do something like that, you got to have sacrifice. And man, a lot of people at the church sacrificed financially in order to get that done. And for that, I'm very, very grateful. But it's impacting students, students everywhere. I mean, we've been able to see students graduate out of our high school program and enter into our college program. That our college pastor, Carson Hall, whose father, Brother Amory Hall, grew up right here in this area. Carson grew up in this area. He's from Maysville, and he's doing a fantastic job with our college students. They just got back from Gatlinburg, where they experienced a little bit of snow and came home a little early because of the weather. And praise be unto God, they made it back home safely. So, I mean, we've got things and events that are going on that we're so grateful for. I think one of the most popular events that we have over the course of the year outside of the Wild Game Dinner is our Fall Festival. During the fall, we have a big fall festival where we do a thing called Trunk or Treat, where we ask our members to volunteer, and they do, and they open their trunks and decorate their trunks and all different kinds of
so fun
stuff,
and safe.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
It's fun. It's a safe environment.
Yes.
We've got hay rides. We've got activities. We got archery. Just trying to just like you said, Kim, we're trying to create an atmosphere of safety that you can bring your children to, and they're going to be okay. And God's really been good to us over the course of the years through that. I don't know if you remember or not, but when I first came here, we used to do a thing called the egg drop, and that was what we did at Easter.
Yeah.
And we had helicopters, you know, that would have thousands and thousands and thousands of eggs, and they would drop these eggs. And I think the biggest one we did was one over by the drag strip there at Banks Crossing. And after that, we had 2 helicopters. I don't know, something like 10 or 20,000 eggs. We had 5,000 or 6,000 people out there. And we just said, you know what, maybe we need to rethink this. And you got these 2 helicopters, you know, flying above everybody's dropping these eggs on.
There's got to be a liability there.
There's got to be a liability that we're overlooking here. We need to hold up on this. So we pulled that, and what we did was we just said, you know, we need something for our community. We've got all these big outreaches that we do. What one little thing can we do for our community? So at Easter, we have a little Easter egg hunt for our community, and everyone's welcome to come in the community, but we don't publicize it like we do these other big events, like the Wild Game Dinner or the Fall Festival. So really, to be honest with you, I can't do anything without the help of, number one, my staff, and number 2, our members. They really have a servant's heart. And Maysville Baptist Church operates on a purpose statement, and that purpose statement is loving God, loving others, and serving the world. Those are really the key 3 things, 3 key things that we're trying to do. We really have a heart's desire to love God, and we try to do that on Sunday mornings and in our small groups. And we really want to try to love others. We want you to come to Maysville and feel welcome. We want you to feel welcome. We are glad that you're with us. And then serving the world, we want to try to get out, not just in our community, which is top priority, but we also want to go around the world. I'm leaving in 2 weeks. I'll be going down to Panama. I've been doing this now. This is year 2 for me. We're teaching about 50 pastors in Panama, in the country of Panama, trying to help them get educated a little bit better in relationship to the Bible and pastoring. And so I'll leave here in about 2 weeks to go to the country of Panama. And we'll have about 50 pastors that we'll be training.
Wow.
So we've got things like that going on, and we got mission trips we went to Augusta last year as the whole church came together. And when I say the whole church, I don't mean all 1,500 members. I mean like those that could get off and had an opportunity to go, and the skill set to go. The only skill set is a willing heart. And if you could go, we went to Augusta, and we were able to do ministry through the weekend there. And boy, it was just such a blessing to be a part and watch the church gather, leave, minister, and come back, and to do really the same thing they do here in Maysville. They did it in Augusta, and we're looking forward to doing that in the future as well this year.
Well, so much exciting stuff going on. So, if it's okay with you, we're going to get some information from some of the other people that. Your support team, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, they're my staff, and they are much better than I am in relationship to telling you about the specifics of their ministry.
Okay.
And so you can dig down as deep as you want in relationship to their ministries. They really are a blessing, and they really each one have a heart to love God, love others, and to serve the world.
That's what it's about.
Shane, you're
Absolutely.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
So much
Thank you
having
for
me.
being with
Very
us.
good. So now we want to introduce you to Brandon Black. And Brandon, what is your role at Maysville Baptist Church?
Well, thank you so much, Lulu. I have the privilege of serving as the education pastor at Maysville, and so I'm blessed to serve alongside all of our teachers and small group leaders, and it's a joy to be able to serve.
So Brandon, what do you love the most about Maysville Baptist?
I think one of the favorite aspects about Maysville Baptist I love the most is the people. And just God has blessed us with staff, with members, and with folks from the community that continue to come and be with us, that just have a heart to want to be there, to serve together, and to enjoy the time together. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
How long have you been at Maysville Baptist?
I have been at Maysville Baptist for going on 3 years now. I've
Okay.
had the privilege of serving on staff going on 2 years. And my family and I, when we first came to Maysville, I'm a unique situation in the fact that before I was a staff member, I was a member. And so my wife and I have 4 children. And when we came to Maysville, from the moment that we walked in the door, we were greeted and loved on, and it made all the difference in our life. And so to be a part of that now, and to be able to come alongside that staff and just get to meet new folks as they come in each week and see God do the same thing in their lives, it's really special.
Do you live in Maysville?
I live in Commerce,
Okay.
but not Maysville.
Okay.
It's a funny story. My wife and I have lived in this area for years and years and weren't familiar with Maysville. And it wasn't until God brought us here to the church that we got to know this town and more of the people. And so we're really grateful.
Yeah. It's a great place to be.
It really is.
It's just a hidden gem. When you say a lot of people don't know about it, they don't know about it.
They don't. We live in the Apple Valley area, and so for years we would drive. Part of our lives took us in other directions, toward the Athens area and other communities, and so we drove in every direction except toward Maysville. And so, but now that God's brought us here, this is where our vehicle tends to come each week. We want to be here in Maysville, and we enjoy the time here in Maysville.
I bet they'll move here. So what is a typical day for you like at the church? I mean,
Great question. So again, one of the greatest privileges that I have is coming alongside our small group leaders. We are blessed to have classes for all ages, literally from birth with our nursery program. And we have 2 coordinators that work with our children that do a phenomenal job. From birth all the way through high school, and then of course our college and career ministry and adult small groups as well. We're blessed with small group leaders that have a desire and a heart to come alongside folks, help them to grow in their faith and to grow as families. And I have the blessing of coming alongside them and getting to communicate each week with them, encourage them, pray with them, and just do ministry with them. And so we're very blessed to have that opportunity. You know, our purpose statement and mission statement as for education at Maysville is connecting people to each other and to Jesus Christ. And so that's the heart of every one of our small group leaders. And God's blessed us with some great folks that want to reach families here in the Maysville area. And when you walk in, you're going to meet some of these folks that are going to be welcoming, and they're going to invite you to their small group. Fair warning. So when you come to the church, we're going to be inviting you to a group. We want to connect you with a small group.
yeah.
And truthfully, connecting with a small group is really where those connections happen in ministry.
It is.
You know, you can walk into any event or any location that you come into, and you step into a crowd, you feel like you are stepping into a crowd. And so the great thing about Maysville Baptist Church, though, is that when you walk into the sanctuary and folks begin to greet you and welcome you, you're not lost in the crowd. You have a name and a face, and people care about you and your family. And small groups are really an extension of that because those connections are able to be
It's
made
overwhelming
closer.
to step into a congregation of 1,500, you know.
Well, especially when you're new. 'Cause you're like, eh.
Right. Well, the wonderful thing about that, though, is you know, folks will begin to welcome, and without fail, one of the aspects is as we begin to connect with folks that begin to attend, and they get connected with a small group. I can't tell you the number of calls that I get each week where somebody goes, "Thank you so much for our small group. I'm so glad that we connected," because what happens is people that are in very much the same seasons of life will connect together as a part of those small groups.
Old.
And they are listen. The whatever stage and age, from
right.
those that are raising small kids that you know the challenges that can come along with
Yeah.
with raising several small children, and moms that come alongside each other and encourage each other along those lines, to our college and career ministry, where they're looking for friends and folks to connect with, and Pastor Carson does an excellent job of connecting those groups and every age range in between. One of the things that I hear most often is, we were really dealing with so-and-so and so-and-so and trying to navigate all that, and my phone rang, and it was my small group. And or it was a member of my small group, and they just encouraged us. My wife and I have even experienced this. She underwent surgery a little earlier this year, and I think you guys will understand what I mean by this. If it were up to me, my children would have probably gone hungry. I'm not the best cook, and so it would have been a pretty difficult set of circumstances. And so I'm thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to prepare meals as she recuperates and we're dealing with all this? Well, the phone began to ring, and our small group said, if it's okay, we want to come by later this evening. We want to bring you guys a meal. We want to do this. And for weeks, our phone continued to ring. People
Wow.
continued to come by and drop off a meal or a word of encouragement or
Wow.
a card for her. And so that's the heart of small groups, connecting people to each other and connecting them to Jesus. And I'm grateful for the privilege to be a part of that and to see what God's doing with our small groups at Maysville.
Is your position full-time?
It is, yes, ma'am.
What did you do prior? Just curious.
So yes, ma'am. I've had the privilege of serving in ministry for about 20 years. I served as an associate pastor for 11 years, and for a season, God led me away from that, and I served in risk management
wow.
for a local government entity. Yes, ma'am. And so there are stories involved with that as well.
I bet.
A lot of interesting stories, but God used all of that in preparation. He brings everything full circle. I prayed for quite some time as we served in risk management, and I just said, Lord, I would love to serve in ministry again if it's your will. And he not only opened the door for that, he put us in the greatest place that I could possibly serve here in Maysville, and I'm grateful
so nice.
to be here now.
Well, they're lucky to have you.
Well,
Yeah.
we're the lucky ones. We're lucky to be a part of a church that loves God, loves others, and serves the world. But we're also lucky to be a part of a community where people care, and I'm grateful. You are an example of that, and I'm grateful to be a part of this community.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for having us today.
And I hope your wife is healing and doing better.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. And next, we'd like you to meet Carlson Hall and tell us what your role is at Maysville Baptist.
Yes, ma'am. So I am the college and career pastor, which basically means from the time you're 18 or graduate high school till roughly the time you get married, you're stuck with me, and I get to minister to you and your family through all the situations your life has for those really difficult years.
That's a lot of difficult years.
It's hard. It's
Yes.
hard. It's hard growing up in this day and age.
Yes.
Being an adult and navigating relationships. My gosh.
Yes, it can be very difficult, and that's one area that I have really tried hard to foster within our group. And I try to tell this to everybody that comes in. It's very unique. I feel like our group is one of the most unique because there's not really any niches. Most people, you know, we've got people that are college athletes
Right.
to people that are going and working on job sites and didn't go to school. But everybody can come together in our group and just have great friendships and relationships, no matter the background, no matter your particular hobbies. Everybody just has found a place where they can come and be themselves and just genuinely enjoy a time of fellowship with other like-minded people.
Do you counsel couples planning to get married?
I have in the past, and I think it went pretty well. They haven't got divorced yet. So, you know, I mean, I would say it went pretty well. I've only done that one time. So,
You're batting 1,000 then.
hey, I mean, I'm off to a good start.
Do you have children?
Yes, we have two. I have a,
You look too young.
I know.
well, you know, the hairline is a little deceiving at some points, but, you know, I'm 25, and I have a daughter she just turned 3. Her name's Millie. We have a son whose name's Emery, and we have one on the way due in May. So we will soon be a family of 5.
And how do you find time to work?
Basically, when I don't sleep. So, you know, that's how it works. Long nights and early mornings, but hey, I'm blessed to be in the situation I am.
Yeah.
That's good.
And what's your favorite part of that role? I mean, what do you like the best about that?
The parenthood aspect or the college pastor aspect?
The college pastor aspect.
I think it's really fun for me just to see people, and I try to encourage this with all of our group. My heart really lies in these college students really starting to own their faith and not going into a point where I go to church because my mama and daddy and my grandparents have. Trust me, I mean, I grew up in that. My family, my children will be the 4th generation to be at Maysville Baptist.
Wow.
So my grandparents, both sets, my mom and my dad's parents went to Maysville Baptist. Both me and my wife's parents went to Maysville Baptist, and now my children will be the 4th generation to be at Maysville Baptist. And it's really easy for sometimes those people to get lost in the fact that we're going to church because this is what we do, versus we're going to church because this is our God-given right and our duty as Christians to fellowship with each other. So encouraging an atmosphere within these college students where they're like, I don't just go to church because it's what I've always done, but I go to church because I get to, and I get to learn about our God.
And with college age and older, there's a, like you say, there's a lot of stuff going on. That has to be a lot of, in a way, pressure for you. I mean, it's a lot to.
It is.
Yeah.
It's hard. I think it's hard to be a young adult. I think it's hard to know what's right for you, and you're just hearing so much in the world, not just politically, but it's confusing.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. And I think the biggest and most beautiful thing is, with our group in particular, we try to leave all opinions at the door. And when we come in, we focus on what the Bible says and let it be our guide versus what our professor at college might be telling us, or our, person we're working with that's going through a difficult time, and they're showing us how they're dealing with it in possibly an unhealthy manner. And just leaving everything we see at the door and coming in and saying, okay, what does the Bible have to say about this versus what people have to say about this, and dealing with those challenges from that aspect versus the worldly aspect of it.
It's almost like a safe haven from the world. Just a little respite from the noise.
We all just need to move in.
Yeah. You have any space for us?
It is very nice, though.
Yeah. Well, what a great ministry you're in charge of, and I hope that people out there will come out there and meet you and take advantage of your program.
I'm curious, how many are in your little group here?
We average around 30-ish.
See, that's impressive.
Right.
That's
very
really impressive for that age group. I'm so happy to hear that.
I'm very blessed with our group, and it's such an amazing thing to foster. One of the big college ministers who works at UGA as the BCM director, I met with him when I first came on staff, and he literally jokingly said, "Who tricked you into taking this job?" Because Maysville sits 45 minutes away from the nearest college, and we truly have people coming in from so many different places because they have found a home and people to identify with. And it's been such an amazing thing for me. And I think just caring for these students and workers too, and just trying to encourage them through what situations they may be dealing with. We do not meet on a normal night like Wednesday or Sunday. We actually meet on Tuesday nights. We meet at 7 o'clock on Tuesday nights currently at the main campus, just to provide a different night where we can solely focus on our college group versus a different area of ministry as well.
All right, and now we're happy to introduce you to Tori Smith. And Tori, tell us what you do at Maysville Baptist.
I'm the Community Outreach Director at Maysville, and so there's a lot of different things that I have a lot of different teams that I work with, and some different departments. So it's really never a dull moment, I would say.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So
that might be the busiest job there. I mean, it sounds like.
Yeah, maybe.
Besides you, Pastor Shane, of course.
So I help facilitate the clothes closet, make sure we have enough volunteers for that, and then our food pantry as well. Also our benevolence fund when people need help with rent or utilities and stuff like that. Also, we are kind of have a new ministry going on. It's the Family Advocacy Ministry, where we try to help people who are fostering or have adopted children. We just create care teams to come upon them and kind of help them to want to keep fostering and stuff like that. So we do meals once a week to families. We pray for them every day, and we have like prayer partners that commit to that. And we work with the Jackson County DFACS office a lot, kind of doing stuff for them and social work appreciation and all kind of stuff like that. So it's kind of a little bit all over the place. We also started a new ministry last year called Community Connect, and so that's where we're trying to bring the community and the church together and just do a couple different things. Last year we did a scavenger hunt around Maysville, and that was pretty neat.
That was fun. That was fun.
So we're trying to start doing some more stuff like that soon too.
What requires the most attention? I know that they all equally have their little thing, but what gets most of your time?
I think probably for me, it's probably our benevolence needs, because we get calls all the time. You know, our economy is not the best right now, so we get calls for rent and utility needs all throughout the week. So the clothes closet, they're open Mondays, taking donations every week. So we have a team that's doing that. The food pantry, they go get food once a month, and then they pack the boxes once a month, and then we do our first Thursday giveaway kind of thing. So all of that is kind of sporadic and through that, but like I said, we have amazing team members who get that done, and then they report to me what they need and stuff like that. I get a lot of help with that.
Are you from Maysville?
I am from Lula, actually, and then I recently moved to Gainesville, but not downtown Gainesville. I kind of live on the outskirts. So yeah, it was really a God thing that I even started coming over this way. Because you know, Lula's not that far, but I was looking for a new church, and one of our old pastors was here, and I had a really good relationship with him. He was my youth pastor growing up, and so I just reached out to him and said, hey, where are you at now? And he said Maysville, so I started coming, and then I had a human services degree in college, and so I did an internship with Maysville as the children's ministry intern. And so about a year later, I think we had a children's pastor who needed an assistant. So I came on staff part-time as the children's ministry assistant and did that for a little bit. That children's pastor was called to be a senior pastor at a church. And so I was the interim children's director for a little bit. And then the community outreach director that we had before was retiring. So it was just like all of these moving parts. The Lord knew kind of where he wanted me, and so it was cool to see how all that played a part too.
Yeah, yeah, he did. So I hear you have a great Christmas ministry. What does that involve?
Yes, so this year we were able to help over 375 kids with Christmas this year through our Toys for Joy event that we did, where people come in and they get used toys, but they also get brand new toys, and then they get to shop at our clothes closet as well. And then we also help with the Angel Tree through DFACS. So our church, our congregation takes, you know, a child and adopts them for Christmas, and so they get Christmas for all of them. Some small groups will take a child and kind of, it's really amazing to see. We just get all of these big black trash bags, and we have to find where to put them, which is a good problem to have. And then, you know, we get calls from a lot of different people asking for help for Christmas, and it is a blessing to be able to do that. And through our community giving stuff, we were also able to send up a bunch of new toys to North Carolina and the victims of the hurricane. So we have a member, Scott Griffith, who orchestrated that and took those up for us. So between everyone donating or, you know, financially giving, it really has been a big ministry, and there's a big need for it in our area, I believe.
So if somebody wanted to, you know, donate, whether it was to the clothes closet, the food pantry, your Christmas thing, any of the wonderful events y'all have, how would somebody do that? Do y'all accept donations, or how does that work?
Yes. So every Monday morning from about 9 o'clock to 11:30, the ladies are over at the clothes closet, which is 15 Homer Street, and it's the little building on the right. And we do accept donations. We do not prefer for people to leave things on the porch because we have some ants, and sometimes they get into the clothes and it just, you know, it's no good. So they're there for a couple hours on Monday mornings. But also I tell people, if you can't make that work, you know, someone who's working full time may not be able to make that work. So I'm always happy to meet people over there. If you call the church office Monday through Thursday or anything like that, food needs would be just straight to the church office, and I can take care of that because our food pantry is over at our main campus. But toys and all that kind of thing, just call me and I can figure out a time that works best for you and for me, and we can get all that figured out. So
now with the food, do you accept like canned goods, or do y'all just prefer a donation so that you can purchase what the needs are? How does that work?
Either really works for us. We just ask that you make sure that it's in-date food, you know, and then financially, we do buy from the food bank that's down in Athens. So, and $1 there goes a long way. So either one really we appreciate, because that way, you know, we can make those purchases based on the needs. And we've been getting a lot of just donations, things like ramen noodles and like, you know, just random stuff that is also kid friendly, so that kids can also take advantage of that as well. And we can bless families in that way too.
Do you get any donations from the grocery stores? My in-laws live in Augusta, and they're involved in their, they go, my father-in-law actually goes to Kroger, Publix, different restaurants, and they donate a lot.
We have a man here. His name is Liam Minish. Do y'all know Mr. Liam? Okay, so he has just created this partnership with us where every first Thursday of the month he's dropping by bread, vegetables, fruits, all kinds of things for us to give out that day. So that has been a tremendous blessing. He also comes to our Christmas event and our back to school event and brings all that stuff too. So that's just something fun that we can give them extra that we may not have purchased, you know. And then we have been working with Dollar General some to kind of get things that are not out of date, but maybe soon, and they can't necessarily sell. So we kind of give those, you know, out as we can as well. So things like that. I mean, it's a lot to move all that kind of food, but it's
you have to have
a
team, a big team to be able to go do that.
Yes, for sure.
You have a back to school event, so do you stuff backpacks? And
yes, nice. I do love the back to school event. I think it's one of my favorites. And I mean, we had over 100 volunteers this year for our back to school event. So it's just amazing to get to reach the community in that way. We do a fun little skit when people come in, and so it's just kind of more kid focused and you know, on the family as well. And then they can go pick out new clothes and used clothes too, and shoes and all that kind of fun stuff, and then they leave with a food box. But we try to give them a book bag and, you know, the necessities, because, you know, people need different things for school, and a lot of the schools are using the Chromebooks now and stuff like that, so they don't necessarily need everything that I needed when I was in school, but it is nice to be able to give, you know, pencils, pens, notebooks, folders, all that kind of stuff, and just to see the kids coming to get, I mean, like, it really is a blessing. It really is.
Y'all all stay busy there, and you know what a blessing it is for our community to have you and all of y'all. I mean, it just warms. Oops. Sorry about that. It warms my heart to know that it's there, and I really believe that if you're not involved in Maysville Baptist Church, you have no idea not only the opportunity, but all of the wealth of love that is inside of those doors, just waiting for people to come share that. And so thank you for all you do, and everybody in your staff and Pastor Shane, and for being part of making Maysville just a wonderful place it is, and we do appreciate it.
Yes.
All right. So this cold weather kind of brings this question. I heard that Maysville Baptist was responsible for giving a whole school coats or shoes, or what was that about?
Yes, so we have been blessed with local businesses that have decided to partner with us to make some eternal investments in these lives of these children. And so we were able to purchase over 500 pairs of shoes for Maysville Elementary School, and we were able to give a coat to every child in the school. We were also able to provide coats for Banks County Elementary School and Commerce Elementary School as well. So that has kind of been, I mean, it was just a great day with, we had some volunteers there helping all the kids try on their coat to make sure that it fit. Because, you know, those big coats can really be different sizes. And then the shoes was probably the most fun, because you just see these kids, their face light up when they get a brand new pair of shoes. Some children have never had a brand new pair of shoes that are specifically for them. So I think one kid put on his shoes and started dancing and said, you know, these are my dancing shoes. And it was just the sweetest thing to be able to see what a tangible gift like that does for someone emotionally or mentally, and just kind of gives them that confidence boost of, you know, someone does care about me. And so we say thank you to those businesses, and we couldn't have done it without you. And so we're just so happy that people see that need beyond just at the church. Like, we see the need in the community and for the schools as well. So that has been great to be able to do that as well for the schools. And just the relationship we have built with Maysville Elementary has been really great. So we're looking forward to doing some more stuff like that in the future, and just being able to be right across the street from them, you know, and have them have that access to us and us have that to them.
And it starts with the kids,
Yes, yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
actually with the babies, but
Yes, and speaking of babies, we are also partners with the Hope Pregnancy Resource Center, which is downtown Commerce, and we have had just a blast getting able to meet with them and just provide when they say they need something. You know, we send something out and it's there. Last week, I was able to take a whole load of diapers and wipes to donate to them for the Sanctity of Life Sunday, and we are just, it's really amazing. We get a lot of donations in for baby stuff, and I don't know what it is, but people just don't come knocking on our door asking for baby stuff. So anything that we have that we've like, okay, this has sat here for a minute. We call them, hey, can you use this? Yes, okay. So they help parents really learn things about parenting and how to do things in a good way and be a good resource for people that are in need as well of clothing and diapers and all that kind of stuff. They do a lot over there, and we are very happy to partner with them. We walked in the other day and we see this lady, and she said, thanks to y'all for inviting Hope Pregnancy Resource to speak at one of the women's events. She actually started volunteering with them. So they always need volunteers, and they always just like to have the help as well. So that has been an exciting partnership for us.
So many great programs. I mean, just so many. Now, y'all have to come back.
Yeah.
And I promise, we will have them back when there's an event. We're going to make sure they know, right?
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. We thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Blind Squirrel Talk, Famous in a Small Town. Make sure you tune in again next week, and we thank you all. Bye.
Bye.